It's very important to hear from the leaders of the profession, just like yourself.
There's no shortcut to hard work. Grit, determination, consistency of hard work.
My personal experience, they sound very nice, but very hard to live by.
Very, very hard. Everything coming at you. So much being thrown at you from a television, from media, from social media, advertisements. Everybody is tempted. There's nothing wrong to be tempted. We are all human beings. But how to narrow that down so that you don't lose your focus is important.
Do you think it works going there, spending that kind of time, energy, investment?
There are people who go for every of these conferences, every arbitration, every litigation, every this thing. That doesn't help. In my personal view, doesn't help.
What would be required for an institution to live on beyond its founders?
It's very difficult to take long breaks as a professional.
How should one approach AI technology?
It's a tool that enhances your capability. So you cannot share everything. You cannot be open about everything.
Today's episode is actually a very special one. आज हमने one of the most successful lawyers in the country के mind में जाके check किया है what it takes to become a great lawyer. What are the sacrifices that are required? And how to live a life of humility, simplicity. हमने इस journey में आज ये discover किया है कि what it takes to run a huge empire or huge institution like a law firm that our special guest today is managing. Sometimes it can be lonely on the top, but at the same time, we should never give up. These are some of the mindset principles that we get into. And as promised, for our law students, for lawyers, for legal entrepreneurs, this special episode will tell you what it takes from the starting point of this journey to a 20, 30, 40-year-old long profession. Guys, I can't tell you that if you don't watch this, what you will miss today. So stay tuned, subscribe, and follow us on Beyond Billables. Welcome to Beyond Billables, ma'am. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Rohan. I was quite happily surprised when you sent me the request and I realized I couldn't say no to you.
Ma'am, I can't begin to tell you कि मैं कब से wait कर रहा था आपसे conversation के लिए. So I know probably the exact place where we can start the conversation.
Sure. I guess you know me well enough.
Yes. And I've had the chance to use my research skills to check everything online also. So ma'am, I know you did your economics from DU.
Yeah.
Was law or becoming a lawyer the initial plan?
Bilkul bhi nahi. I had no plans of becoming a lawyer. My father tried his best when I was in college to see that he would take me to meet lawyers, he would take me to meet judges, solicitors. He would do everything. One day he sent me to court in the vacation time. Palkhiwala was arguing Raj Narayan versus Indira Gandhi. He was for Indira Gandhi.
Right.
He sent me to court, listen to these arguments, maybe it will inspire you. He did everything possible and I wasn't in, I didn't want to do law. I think at one level, it was the fear of having a father who was so great and not knowing whether I had an aptitude for law or not. So without telling him, I went and applied for business school.
Oh.
I did economics and maths, so the next choice was business school. I got into Jamnalal Bajaj. I had to go for an interview. That's when I told him because I had to take a train and go. So I needed money to buy a train ticket. So that is why I told him and then he said, do what you want. As my fate would have it, I got engaged to Shardul, who comes from a legal family, from a family of solicitors. And it was, of course, an arranged marriage, but got into law because of him. And this is a very funny story, which I tell everybody. I had done business school. I was working with Sarabhai, selling detergents.
Oh, wow. What was that like, ma'am?
That was a fantastic experience. traveling around India, going to class 5 towns, talking to the shopkeepers and trying to sell. It's product, it's human skills, it's connecting with people. And I think it gave me a very, very good experience. Gave me the ability to travel out alone, be there, talk to people, and learn the market, which is very important for anything that you do.
Correct.
So it was fantastic experience as far as I'm concerned. And then I was waiting on a Friday evening to go out with Shardul when we were engaged, and he didn't turn up. And that was not the era of mobile phones. So I kept waiting and he didn't turn up. I was waiting on the road for him. So I got so mad at him. And I said, when he called to say, sorry, client walked in just when I was leaving and you cannot say no to a client. I didn't understand what it meant at that point of time. But I decided one thing is that, look, you will always tell me this. So I can't beat you at it. So I will join you.
Wow.
And I will make you wait for me. Instead of me waiting for you. When you've done MBA, you've done well, these things, you have all this in your mind at that young age. So I said, you will now wait for me. And that's how I started studying law and got into. First time I applied to law college, they rejected my application because I had already done a postgraduate degree. And this was a second postgraduate degree. So I had to actually go and meet the principal to get admission. And I got, of course, once I met her, I got the admission and then started my journey into law.
So, ma'am, this is after you did economic honors, after you did your MBA,
yes,
you switched to law.
Then I switched to law.
So, any point aapko kabhi laga, ma'am, that law is not meant for me, yeah, I'm not cut out for it?
नहीं, कभी भी नहीं लगा. पहले दिन से I felt comfortable, happy. और उस वक्त तो corporate India was hardly there. So litigation was the only thing early 80s that you really did. And I went to court and I actually enjoyed. And I felt that this is home for me. Even today when I go to court, I feel this is my home. So I enjoy being in court.
So did your father, being a great jurist and a great judge, did your family environment help in making you feel familiar with law?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. I knew a little bit about my father, but knew more about him when I joined law school. Interestingly, my very first experience of the law, so to say, is I had finished business school. And it was, I think, the week after I finished my exams and all of that. Shardul was studying for his final LLB exams. And he told me there's a case in the High Court. Please go with somebody from the office will come with you. And please go and attend to it. You have to do nothing. You just go and listen. So Sharad Matkar from our Bombay office was with me. And the junior counsel was late Firdaus Taliyar Khan. So he and I went to meet Mr. Sirvai. And I had no clue who was who at that point of time. And I went there and we were talking of fees. Whether fees, you need a quid pro quo, you don't, cess versus fees and things like that. Whether you need to give a service in return. The very, very fundamental concepts today which are very settled law. And everybody started referring to Ramanna Shetty. Instrumentality is the university and instrumentality of the state. And I'm sitting and listening, and then they refer to Ramanna Shetty and Justice Bhagwati's judgment and all of that. So I'm listening. And Firdaus turns around and tells me, can you get this judgment? It was not still out. There was no uploading at that time or anything.
No online database.
Nothing. So I call my father's office. On the same day, they speed post everything to me. Wow. Next morning, I get it. I go to Sirvai. He looks at the judgment. He sees Bhagwati's name and threw the whole thing flying on my face. Sirvai used to have a huge table.
Wow.
And he threw it on my face and said, trash. I was zapped. I didn't know what he said, what the judgment was, nothing. That was my first brush with law. I got into then reading the judgments, reading the brief, talking to Firdaus, and he would guide me, train me, mentor me. It was my first matter. And then once I started working, I worked with Mr. J.J. Bhatt, who's now a senior counsel in Mumbai, a fantastic lawyer. He taught me the beginnings of law and how to read and how to look at a brief and what to do and how to do the research. So I owe my beginnings in law to both of these senior people.
So ma'am, उस time जैसे कि right out of university today, I'm bringing today's context. We feel that whenever law students come into law firms, like I was also one of them, there used to be a big skill gap. You were a fresh graduate from economic honors. You had done MBA. What was the ways in which you were learning these skills at that point of time when there was no technology?
Nothing. I was learning on the job, literally, working very, very hard, because I just joined law college because once I started practicing or going to law, going to court and all of that. And it was a very, very steep learning curve. सब कुछ पढ़ना पड़ता था, सब कुछ समझना पड़ता था. Luckily, the two seniors I worked with initially were very, very nice people. And
very patient also.
Very patient. They taught me literally everything. Fundamentals of administrative law. Of course, college जाते थे, पढ़ते थे, you read everything. But it was a very steep learning curve on the job.
Ma'am, any particular skill which you believe at that point of time that I'm struggling here a lot?
I think one is analytical skills, but I think those are now taught in law schools, how to analyze problem solving. हमारे ज़माने में ना वो the Socratic method of teaching नहीं थी.
Ma'am, मेरे में भी नहीं था.
I was in Government Law College, Bombay. Professor आते थे, sections को पढ़ते थे. They would tell us some law, something. We went home. If you studied on your own. And then once I started reading my father's judgments as I went along, I found them very interesting, conceptually interesting थे. Business issues जब आते थे, तो I found I could analyze them better. I could understand business better. I think one big skill gap for those who come into commercial law.
Yeah.
कोई in-house जाते हैं, कोई constitutional law, civil law करते हैं. I started doing commercial law, pure commercial law, because the firm that I joined was all about commercial law. तो वहाँ मुझे लगा कि मेरा MBA का जो background है, वो मुझे बहुत help कर रहा था. क्योंकि business कैसे चलती है, क्या है, what are the drivers, factors, problems, I could understand better. And once you understand business, then the problem you understand better for solutions.
And you can connect with the client better.
You can connect. तो जो सवाल आप पूछोगे, कैसे पूछोगे, उसमें फर्क पड़ता है. So maybe my skill of learning business, MBA taught me a lot actually. And a little bit on lateral thinking. हम जब lawyers आते हैं fresh, you focus on one issue. But you have to learn over a period of time to think laterally, to bring in different concepts, different subjects, perspectives together.
Ma'am, normally मैंने अपने personal experience में notice किया, and I wanted to check with you also, कि even if you're not doing so well or struggling with a skill set, but if you're surrounded by very smart people, you end up learning very fast. Was
Correct.
That your experience at some point?
Absolutely. Small things. I would watch my father-in-law, was a fabulous solicitor. I would just sit in his room on a sofa at the back and listen to him. कि कैसे करते, क्या सवाल पूछते हैं. Or from one question he would ask another to another. And secondly, his concepts were very simple and clear. Everything was first principles.
First principles thinking.
That is what I learned. And that got reinforced. जब हम actual practice में होते हैं, तो we get enamored with case law. ये केस निकालो, but हम first principles पे भूल जाते हैं सोचना कैसे है. After my father retired, I went to take his opinion. And I took the papers, I took everything to him, and he asked me, "Where's the section?" And I said, "I know the section. This is the section. Bring the book." He said, "Ab, you read this section with me, and I will show you how it can be read." That is the time it sort of, I remembered what my father-in-law had taught me. First, learn on first principles. And some of the seniors of those days, for example, I worked extensively with Mr. K.S. Cooper, late Mr. K.S. Cooper, and he was fantastic on first principles.
Yep.
He would say, after discussing with me on first principles, he would tell me, now go and look at the case law.
You will realize 90% of the case laws are useless.
Nothing. But I would find one right case that he was talking about. Concept was there. So today, what most people do is when we are working on a matter, people सबसे पहले case law ढूंढना जाते हैं. वो मत करो, I would say. Look at the section, read some commentary. Every firm mostly has library. अब तो सब कुछ online है.
Yeah.
आप पहले commentary पढ़ो, section पढ़ो, get your concepts correct, then look for case law. आजकल सब उल्टा हो रहा है ना?
बिल्कुल. Ma'am, today
LexisNexis. Otherwise, it's Google. It's not even LexisNexis, Manu Patra. It's just Google.
Ma'am, आजकल ChatGPT भी हो रहा है.
I agree.
ChatGPT.
When you see certain drafts, you know where they come from.
Very well, ma'am. Ma'am, अब इसको थोड़ा fast forward करते हैं, which is now you are the managing partner at Samco, which is Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas & Co. There, do you believe again? Are you more in of a legal role or a business role or donning multiple hats? थोड़ा इसके बारे में बताइए.
I wear actually multiple hats. No managing partner can wear only one hat. I have to manage the firm, manage people, finances. I have to do business development for myself and for the firm, and along with my other partners. I have to ensure their growth is my responsibility, ultimately. Me growing alone cannot have the firm growing. So the partners have to grow. They are the backbone of the firm. So if they don't grow, the firm doesn't grow. So helping them grow is a very big thing for me, at least personally. And being the face of the firm, so public speaking, being on boards of companies. But amongst the chaos of all of that, I think in India, all of us as managing partners need to do legal work. For two reasons, I feel. All of us are trained lawyers. मैनेजिंग पार्टनर बनने से पहले 20 साल 22 साल 25 साल हमने सिर्फ वकालत की है. वी आर ट्रेन्ड टू डू दैट. फिर वन फाइन मॉर्निंग अगर वो बंद कर देना पड़ता है तो इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट ऑनेस्टली. व्हेन आई बिकेम अ मैनेजिंग पार्टनर, कितने दिन मैं गई थी बिना बिलेबल आवर्स से. एंड आई यूज्ड टू फील, मैंने आज बिलेबल आवर्स नहीं किए, विल द फर्म थ्रो मी आउट कि कुछ क्या हो गया. And I realized my CEO would then tell me, you know what, if you actually did only billable hours, then the firm will throw you out because you're not doing your job as managing partner. Then over a period of time, I learned to balance my role as managing partner, as a lawyer, but that was for my mental satisfaction because I'm a lawyer still, trained lawyer. So I want to do law. So take one odd matter, go to court, or with other matters, I do strategy, review some drafts, develop concepts and arguments with partners and also.
And so, ma'am, when we talk about growth, I know that you and sir started off in Bombay in a solicitor firm. From there, how did we reach to the present modern Samco? And what was the journey like?
The journey has been very amazing journey for me. Not an easy journey, but I would say amazing journey. Shardul qualified as a lawyer on 1st of June 1980. We shifted to Delhi on 1st September 1980. I was still to give my final law exam. Shardul had just qualified. Father-in-law said, we will open an office. Late Mr. Ian Shroff died. We had common clients in financial institutions, banks and others. So we shifted here to start the Delhi office of Amarchand Mangaldas.
Hmm.
Here the firm was known as Shroff and Company, so we became Amarchand Mangaldas Shroff and Company. Went to court first time, there was like some thousands of cases. And
Wow.
I wasn't qualified. Shardul was the only qualified lawyer, one other person. In the first 10 days, the two senior people who were with Mr. Shroff left. They didn't want to work with two young, literally they called us brats. So they didn't want to work with us.
Big mistake.
So fine, they left. We had no choice. We had to still continue doing what we did. I did my part in the office. Shardul did the court part. And from there, we started growing and building. People wanted to take their cases away from us in the Supreme Court because my father was still a sitting judge. And everybody wanted their matters before him. I had to literally beg clients to say, just give us an opportunity, to work. And then you see us. Some had faith, some said okay, some took away their matters. But we started from there. And we grew one by one. And we started in a small place, 1,330 square feet office, sharing cabins with somebody else, 4-seating open space. We had 5 juniors, me, Shardul, and one more person. So we started very, very small. And then work started coming in. And I think ultimately quality work does speak for itself. Firms. Then 91, of course, when India opened up, Shardul shifted to doing the transaction side because that's what he had always done. He knows he was very good at it. I continued on the dispute side, and we both grew the practice independently, one in litigation, one in, And as the firm grew, clients started coming. We, of course, took in more people. When the national law schools came, we hired people from national law schools. But those were the days when we worked actually non-stop. There was no holiday, there was no break, no Diwali, no Dussehra, nothing. 365 days a year, literally 18 hours a day, we would work. No break, nothing. We had 2 young kids. I think they made the biggest sacrifice for, both parents working full time. But I think it made them stronger. And I think kids are as much as you bring them up. Like every mother does, you sacrifice one thing to get another. All of us make sacrifices in life. We make them by choice. So by choice, we made a decision I wanted to work. So I didn't have a social life. People stopped calling us out for any social events or anything, which was okay. I was working and I went to my children and I had a good time. Was it the best balance? You hear people when women say today, oh, I have 9 to 5 this and then I have another 3 hours with my kids and then I do this. It doesn't work in real life. Every day, you live by the day, sometimes by the hour. And you have to manage it. Your priorities change every day, sometimes more than once a day. And that's also fine. That's life. You have to cope with it. That's exactly how we grew. Then you have to start trusting people. If you have good people with you, you have to start trusting them. You have to start exposing them to clients, letting them handle relationships. Because if you hold everything to yourself, you cannot grow.
So was this, let me ask you, ma'am, was this a problem for you?
No.
Or you were easily able to trust people?
It was very easily for me to trust people, to pass on relationships. I never felt insecure about myself for some reason. It was always, okay, you want to do it? Do. You want to leave, you take a client? Take, I'll bring 5 more.
So that's the inner strength and security that you're talking about.
Yes. You have to believe in yourself. Why should you be so scared of somebody taking 1 client or 2 clients? Because if you are good, that client will come back to you for your value.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah. Ma'am, आपने बहुत अच्छा mindset पे भी एक topic raise किया है. I want to do a separate section on mindset with you. Coming back to your journey. Now, in this long journey, which you said was phenomenal and tough at the same time, any 3-4 pivotal decisions which you and Shardul sir felt that इसकी वजह से we are standing today where we are standing today? ऐसी कोई something comes to mind?
I think it was dedication, complete dedication to the practice, to developing the firm, having faith in ourselves, and hard work means sheer hard work. Sometimes I feel today's younger Gen Z doesn't know what is hard work, because they ask you the question of work-life balance. There's no work-life balance if you want to rise to the top. I mean, I don't think we worked that hard just to rise to the top, but it was a commitment that we made to ourselves, that we wanted to build something.
And did you enjoy what you did back then?
Yes, I did.
Can you say कि I loved what I was doing?
Completely. I love it even today.
So, ma'am,
you cannot work 44 years doing the same thing, 15, 16 hours a day, if you don't enjoy what you do.
You've answered my question, ma'am. Because I find that आजकल के डेट में there is a lot of misalignment happening.
Gee.
People are coming into law firms for the lofty goals, money, prestige. But in my own journey, I found that, especially in this profession, maybe similar in a case of a doctor, there is no substitute for hard work.
नहीं.
आपका भी यही view रहा है?
I endorse that view. You take any profession, जो top पे है, do they not work 15, 17 hours a day? Take our Prime Minister. He probably works 20 hours out of 24 hours. You took at any successful doctor, leaves at 7 in the morning and does his last rounds with his patients and comes back home at 10 and 11. Standing the whole time, operating, seeing patients, doing this. It is hard work. And nobody, you think a CEO doesn't work hard? Traveling sometimes 10 days a month, 15 days a month. Youngsters feel, today it's so glamorous to travel out. Believe me, it is not the kind of travel that people in business do.
Yeah.
You go there and you start your meetings, you finish your meetings and you come back. So you see your hotel room, you see a conference room and you're back.
Yep, absolutely, ma'am. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have a conversation with you, because I believe that it's very important to hear from the leaders of the profession, just like yourself, कि what it takes. Now, इसके बाद आप पे है if you want that life or not.
True. I think I would say two things. जो भी opportunities आपको मिलती है firm में, जहाँ पे भी आपको opportunity, take those opportunities. Work very hard for it. Okay? Don't say no. Don't say कि भाई Friday evening है, 6 बजे picture देखने जाना है, या आज dinner है, I have friends के साथ, we have to go for a drink and all of that. All that, there is time in life for that. As when you are young, work. There is no shortcut to hard work. Grit, determination, consistency of hard work.
Again, ma'am, I want to take you back to your childhood. ये जो आपने सारी values बताई, my personal experience, they sound very nice but very hard to live by.
Very, very hard.
कहीं ना कहीं क्या in your childhood, did you pick it up from your parents or from your spouse or Shardul sir? Did your surrounding help you? या फिर आपको लग रहा था कि as a child only I had these, if you were to look back?
Nobody is born with these values. We all imbibe the values. ना अपने पेरेंट्स को देख के, अपना आजू बाजू क्या है माहौल देख के, relatives, you see. I had a father, for me, he was like God. Wow. His value, he lived by the principles that he actually told people to live by, literally. Simplicity, integrity, honest, and compassion. Humility. 4 or 5 things he lived by.
So for my understanding, it's integrity.
Integrity, humility, compassion, and hard work.
And simplicity as well.
Simplicity. Very simple man. Very simple. No needs. In his life, I think he must have at any point of time had 3 suits, 5 shirts, and I think about 4 or 5 safari suits. That's all that he had.
But with simplicity, ma'am, I've noticed, and I would want to again shift into your family role and talk about Mr. Bhagwati as well. But just coming back and digressing here, I found that the more simple you are, the more laser focused you can become because you've removed the distractions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not easy to compartmentalize your life with today's, everything coming at you. So much being thrown at you from a television, from media, from social media, advertisements. Everybody is tempted. There's nothing wrong to be tempted. We are all human beings. But how to narrow that down so that you don't lose your focus is important. And what I learned was from my father to keep that focus. Nothing would make him change his focus. Early on in life, he was a fabulous lawyer. Then he became a good judge. And at some point in life, human rights became his passion.
Yep.
But his passion remained all his life. Excellence. Focus on excellence is unbelievable. Excellence is something I've learned from him and my father-in-law when I came into the legal profession. Because I remember Papa getting up when he was writing his epic judgments. He would get up at 5 in the morning, 4:35, sit on his sofa, and he would handwrite each of those important paragraphs.
Wow.
And keep editing. Till it was perfection. And if you go back and read those judgments today, एक पैराग्राफ आप देखो, एक वर्ड फालतू नहीं है, एक वर्ड नहीं होगा जिसका 2 मीनिंग हो सकता है.
It is so precise.
It is so precise. वो मैंने सालों साल देखा है. Perfection.
And as a result, you also get to imbibe it.
You get to imbibe it. 2-3 things, like I said, first principles. Working with late Mr. Cooper, with my father after his retirement. First principles. Today also when I work with the younger generation firm में, मैं कहती हूँ पहले act लेके आओ. चलो साथ पढ़ते हैं. Some things remain in your mind forever. भूल नहीं सकते हैं. और एक दूसरी चीज, छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं. पहले दिन मैं जब ऑफिस गई, माय फादर इन लॉ ने मुझे बुलाया, सही इसकी ब्रीफ बना के लेके आओ. अब मुझे क्या पता ब्रीफ क्या होता है. तो पेपर्स लिए मैंने और प्यून था वहाँ पुराना ऑफिस में, मैं उसके पास गई. मैंने कहा ब्रीफ क्या होता है, इसका ब्रीफ बनाना है. तो ही मेड अ ब्रीफ आउट ऑफ इट. वो बॉम्बे में स्टिच करते थे. स्टिच किया उसने पूरा करके, मैंने अपने फादर इन लॉ को दे दिया. ही लुक्ड एट इट एंड ही सेड, वेयर इज द पेजिनेशन? Where is the index? I said, what are you talking about? He says, how will I know what document is at what page? Papers came flying on my face and said, go paginate it. Then I learned, and I will never forget that. Today also, if I get a brief from a junior which is not paginated, I will call the person and say, please paginate this brief. इसका index कहाँ है?
उनको शायद लग रहा होगा कि बहुत स्मॉल चीज मैम बोल रही है, बट दैट इज व्हाट.
एंड जब कोर्ट जाते हैं आप, कोर्ट की फाइल और आपकी फाइल और आपके सीनियर की फाइल मैच होनी चाहिए पेजिंग में. होगा क्या इफ इट्स नॉट, you are not taken care of all of this? The senior is arguing, looking at one page, the judge has another page. The effect of the argument is lost. तो effect आएगा ही नहीं आपका. The smooth flow है, because the senior will stop or you will stop and say, has my lord got that page? वो 5 मिनट फंबल करेगा, आपका थॉट चला गया. जो लिंक है, जो आप बिल्डअप कर रहे थे, वो फिर चला जाता है और इम्पैक्ट ही नहीं आता है फिर. These are very small things, but they need to be perfection.
But ma'am, after listening to you, a lot of my concepts, which sometimes you are in a chamber when there is nobody validating.
Yes.
But when I hear you, it feels like, your training has been right.
Yeah.
आप सही direction में चल रहे हो. So really, thank you for sharing that. अब मैम मुझे आपके mind में step in करना है as a managing partner. I believe Samco is probably the largest. or
no,
one
we
of the
may
largest?
not one of the largest.
One of the largest.
We are not the largest. I think there are at least 3 firms who may be larger than us, but we are not looking to be the largest.
Can I say that?
We are looking for excellence. We are looking for a steady growth and quality.
Quality. So can I say at least that Samco is an institution in a way?
Yes, we are working towards that.
So ma'am, मुझे आपसे I want to understand, as the managing partner in the disputes area for this institution, how do you look at a client in terms of when a new client is coming in, how to get a new client, how to retain an old client, and your philosophy around it?
I would begin by saying client is king. You exist because there is a client. You are doing work for a client. Your growth is because of a client. He's given you the opportunity to do something. So client is king. Having said that, when you sort of go out to bring a client or this, you can never get a client by going and saying, give me work. कभी नहीं होगा. क्यों देगा आपको client? You first have to go and convince the client that there is some ability in you. Okay? So what you do is typically you go and start building a relationship. एक बार जाओगे, दूसरी बार जाओगे, तीसरी बार जाओगे. You will discuss issues that have happened either in the legal community, न्यू जजमेंट कुछ आया, उसका क्लाइंट पे कोई इम्पैक्ट है कि नहीं. आप भी अपना होमवर्क करके जाओगे ना, क्लाइंट कौन है, इसके क्या इश्यूज है. आप जाके उसके इश्यूज, उसकी प्रॉब्लम्स की बात करोगे जेनेरिकली. 2 बार जाओगे, 3 बार जाओगे, एंड देन ही विल बी सेटिस्फाइड कि नहीं भाई ये बंदा ना सोच के आता है, मेरे इश्यूज पे कुछ डिस्कस करता है,
मेरी पेन पॉइंट पे
मेरा पेन पॉइंट्स ही नोज. He's taking the care to know my pain points. That is how you go. There is a lot of generic conversations, politics, issues, law, every business. Can you talk business? Do you ask him what are your business plans? Because you can only help if you know his business plans or what are his pain points. So that is how you build this relationship, friendship, to get a client to do work for you.
So just the other day, few days back, I got the opportunity to speak to Mr. Ashok Shah, who's the chairman of V Transport, the Gujarat-based company. And he told me, ma'am, that when he looks at a client, he wants to understand, जैसे आपने बोला, what is their 5-year growth plan?
Exactly.
Because if they are not growing, you will not grow.
Correct.
And if I can be the catalyst for his 5-year growth plan in whatever way, then I know हमारी association चल सकती है. But इसमें मैम मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि why would the client entertain you or me 4 or 5 times like this? So how do we make that path for ourselves?
Actually, if you start with the general counsel actually also like to meet people. You know, they are also in a very tense world. They also have clients. They have internal clients. They have to advise their CEO. They have to advise their CFO. There are so many issues. Where do they get the time and the opportunity to discuss it with whom? We in a firm, हम लोग एक दूसरे के साथ बात कर सकते हैं, सोच सकते हैं, डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. ये लोग तो अकेले होते हैं ना अपने जॉब में. I mean, उनकी टीम होती है.
बिल्कुल, but I see what you're saying.
That is at the top is always lonely. When you go and आप जब जाके बात करते हो इश्यूज के बारे में, उनको भी अच्छा लगता है ना, किसी के साथ डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. उनकी नॉलेज बढ़ती है, आपकी बढ़ती है, आप so that interaction, all general counsel like it. हम करते नहीं हैं क्योंकि हम लोग भी अपने डिलीवरी ऑफ वर्क में बिजी हो जाते हैं.
बिल्कुल मैम.
एक मैटर आया तो अच्छा तो करना ही है, तो हम बिजी हो जाते हैं. फिर जब नेक्स्ट पॉइंट आता है where you want to talk to the client, you talk to the client. But how many times do we meet the client when there is no work? Just to say hello.
Yeah.
You are asking me why do general counsel, why do I have to do it? because they also want to say hello.
And ma'am, we
And
spoke
this is
about...
not about parties and dinners and all of that. It's about just saying hello to somebody.
आपने इनफैक्ट यू गेव मी द सेगवे टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. मुझे यही पूछना था. आई डोंट नो पहले होता था नहीं, बट लास्ट 5-7 ईयर्स में, प्लीज़ करेक्ट मी मैम, बहुत सारे नेटवर्किंग इवेंट्स आ गए लॉ को लेके. सम थैंक्स टू सम आर्बिट्रेशन इंस्टीट्यूट्स, सम अदरवाइज बहुत सारे आ रहे हैं. मेरा इस पर एक अपना पर्सनल व्यू है, बट आई वॉन्टेड टू हियर फ्रॉम यू. डू यू थिंक इट वर्क्स गोइंग देयर, स्पेंडिंग दैट काइंड ऑफ टाइम, एनर्जी, इन्वेस्टमेंट, या इज इट बेटर टू जस्ट, जैसे आपने बोला, जस्ट गो एंड से हेलो?
I think in today's day and age, दोनों की आवश्यकता है. But you have to choose your networking options and points. 2 reasons. You may get an opportunity to meet somebody you may not otherwise get by going to some place. GCs are there, you meet, you get a card, you may then want to follow up on that card, go and meet. It opens a door, it gives you that card, entry point. It's worth going. 2, you meet others, lot of other people, lawyers from other jurisdictions sometimes. That gives you an opening. Just hearing and talking, their perspective versus your perspective. It's important. Each one has a perspective coming from the jurisdiction and the background that they do. So that also gives you a new perspective. Third is, if there are good speakers, please listen. You know. But I feel beyond a point, these don't add value.
So you're saying, ma'am, you have to be very selective.
You should be selective.
So what should be the goal, ma'am? What should be the goal while selecting?
You select couple of good ones which are known to add value. You know. So that people know you, you know people. That's a segue into developing a friendship, a relationship. But going for everything, there are people who go for every of these conferences, every arbitration, every litigation, every this thing. That doesn't help. In my personal view, doesn't help. You're so busy in the social circuit. Where is your time to do work?
Right, correct. And ma'am, one last at least question on this managing partner. आपने ये topic छेड़ा, which is that being on the top is lonely. And I hear this from CEOs a lot. What is it like there? And why do we say it's lonely?
I think everybody will say it's lonely at the top. Simply because as the boss, okay, you may have friends, but you cannot share things within the organization. You have to take tough decisions even about your friends and with your friends. You know, so you cannot share everything. You cannot be open about everything. You can share growth, you can take ideas, you can do all of that. I'm not saying you don't talk. We all talk. And we get ideas from them. But there is also, you have to remember a time when you have to go back and tell somebody what you're doing is not correct. It's not in the interest of the company. You cannot do this. And if you're so close, you cannot do that. And you, at some level, people junior to you will never become that close to you.
So ultimately, then you go back to your original circle, let's say your friend circle,
Correct.
your family,
Correct.
जो आपको शुरुआत से
Correct.
देखते आए हैं.
And those friends you will have few.
एक आपसे sentimental question पूछूं मैम. After spending so much time in this, do you think it's worth it?
Absolutely. You know, the thrill of doing something new every single day is worth it. In spite of all the sacrifices, I think it's worth it. Just the thrill of every matter is a new matter. It's different from the previous one. Every day is a new day.
It's never boring, never
It's
dull.
never boring. It's just thrilling. New challenges. Find new solutions.
Ma'am, what is the future vision for SAM?
Future vision for SAM is to make it into a solid institution so that I can sit back, retire at some point, and see that the firm, the name of SAM goes on.
So it's in safe hands.
Yes. Build a firm that is based on principles, on something solid, and it should live on beyond Shardul and me.
Was this decision hard to have?
No, I think we've always had this desire, ambition, if you call it at one level, a desire, whatever. But I think it's an ambition to build an institution that outlives you. What is the point of building an institution that dies with you?
And when we use the word institution, ma'am, for, let's say, the audience, what does an institution like this mean? Like, what would be required for an institution to live on beyond its founders?
Structure, policies, implementation of policies, do things which are in the interest of the company or the firm first, put yourself second, grow. But the foundation of policies and principles have to be followed.
And systems as well, connecting.
Systems, completely. You cannot work without structure and systems.
I recently heard, and we were just speaking before our conversation started, I heard Naval is very active posting on Harvey AI. Your thoughts on, very initial thoughts on, is AI there to augment, because that's the word these days they're using, or is it there to replace, and how should one approach AI technology?
So I think you cannot wish away AI. It's there to stay. I think to grow, you will need to embrace it. It can be an unruly horse or you can tame it. It's up to you and how you will tame it. To say it's an unruly horse, it hallucinates and therefore I will not use it, I don't think that's the answer. Use it on your data, within the firm, within the company. It will certainly go a long way. We decided that we will first see whether it's useful to us or not. It may be useful to 5 firms, may not be useful to me the way we run it. But so we did a pilot project for about 150 lawyers across our various offices, across different practice areas. We did a pilot for 3-4 months and we found everybody liked it. And what does it do? It's a tool that enhances your capability. You can use Harvey for various different this thing. It gives you the menial tasks, the simpler tasks are all getting done by Harvey, which leaves you the time to apply your mind, to think like a lawyer, to do something worthwhile. I think it's a tool that will assist you to grow, to think, to analyze, saves your time. And if you save time and can go back home, that's even better.
Yeah.
Be with family. Do other things. That is the way I look at Harvey. And today we have, out of our 800 or 900 lawyers, we have 675 lawyers who use it regularly.
Any resistance that you find in people adapting to this technology?
It's the younger people very, very easily. The mid-tier took a little time, but now they are hooked onto it. The very senior people will take more time because any case they are resistant to change. We are all averse to change.
Yes.
But if we don't change with the times, we will be outdated.
Well said, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to just segue into the mindset of a lawyer. And I know your passion about love. We've spoken at length about it. You've spent, will I be right in saying that you've probably seen the best of the best lawyers in the country?
I would have seen.
Ma'am, what is that makes them a great lawyer?
One is oratory. You have to have that art of oratory. All the great lawyers you would have heard, I have heard, they've all been great orators. 2, they actually plan their arguments. Nobody can go to court without planning an argument. What will follow what and what sequence and how to best bring out the case and the law. Very detailed planning goes on in your mind.
So very strategic in their argument.
Very strategic in what they say. And that's what I realize when I am going to argue something, I plan very differently from the time I'm briefing a counsel.
More hard work?
Of course. You have to know basically you read your brief, you cull out your points, and then you know what should go after what and how do you want to put it across. That will appeal to the judge.
So, ma'am, oratory, strategic planning of their arguments.
Every matter you have to plan your argument to the last detail.
And what else? What else would make them a great lawyer?
Knowing your facts and your law. Ultimately, you have to prepare. The hard work has to go in.
Ma'am, do you think, इसमें मैं question पूछना चाहूँगा, and this is where I personally...
You learn with your experience also, I have to say.
Learn with the experience. Of course. And this is something I personally feel is that I find that preparation is a very underrated skill.
It is.
But I believe whatever little success I have had in my life, it's because of preparation.
The only thing that will work in life is preparation and hard work. Read your papers, make your list. I'm just giving a very basic.
Yes, ma'am.
Read your papers, make your list of dates. You should know your facts backwards. Because you're going to use the law and the facts, right? Apply your law to the facts of your case. Your case law, research. Understand which case. There'll be 10 cases on a property. Do you want to cite all 10? Not necessary. Take the best which suits, the language of which suits you. How will you present it to the court? What is the proposition for which you want? How will you weave in this proposition into the facts? This is all which you have to do. As I said, no case can you go to court unprepared.
And both...
I would tell associates that even if you're going for an adjournment, be prepared to argue. That's how we took our chances.
Absolutely.
In a very tough regime, when women didn't get chances to argue. If somebody counsel was not coming and we are taking time, some of the judges said, no, why don't you argue? You start, we'll see. I would start. But those are the opportunities. Today, I think things are very, very different. I mean, I'm happy to see the change.
You're seeing that there is... I'm also personally seeing that there's more participation of women in our profession.
Yeah.
But you're seeing that the opportunities are more and more opening up?
Yes, there are opening up.
And what's the main change in the mindset that you've seen?
I think we are a little away. I think we are some way away from a complete change, but a huge change in 2-3 ways. One, clients are willing to accept women advisors as lawyers, as banking experts or investment experts or whatever. It's the acceptance of women as professionals. I think that's the first change. Coming from a time when clients didn't want to be advised by a woman and would tell me, I will wait for Mr. Shroff. To today, people wanting to meet me is a very different change of, the client attitude. Being accepted by clients, being accepted by society as being competent. By courts. The other day, interesting episode. I was arguing in the Jaipur High Court, and the senior counsel was also there, and he was overseas, so he was arguing long distance. A few points that had still needed to be made. So I got up and I argued the balance points. The other side lawyer got up and turned around and said, but why is she arguing? Her senior has argued. And the judge turned around and said, what are you saying today? In the day of women empowerment, you are telling me to tell her not to argue? That's a mindset change from the court also.
Wow.
I was happy to hear that the judge's mindset was saying you cannot stop someone from arguing. And I've heard many young women argue in the court there.
Yes.
And arguing well.
Very well.
Very well, well prepared, arguing well. And for me, that's a joy. But it all goes back to preparation and hard work.
Ma'am, this journey of being a lawyer, anytime you feel that this was probably my lowest point professionally, or I felt that I'm struggling a lot, or maybe in some case you felt that this is a hard bite to chew.
You know what? You win cases, you lose many. You win few, you lose many. But I have never felt low point in my career in that sense.
Wow.
It just meant I had to work harder, find a solution. It just meant I had to work harder.
So is that your mindset when you have to deal with what people use failure a lot? Is that would be your mindset that when things
Absolutely.
get tough, you become tougher?
You have to be tougher. You cannot accept defeat. In the early days when people used to say the judges would say, oh, she's come to argue. And used to be very humiliating to hear that, frankly. And I would say, okay, you can say what you want. I will do what I want to do. And I would start arguing.
ये courage कैसे आई?
Because I've never given up on anything. If there is an adversity, I will fight it.
Go through the wall, कहते हैं, go
yeah,
around
go through
it,
the wall.
go on top of it.
Through the wall.
Through the wall.
If I have to go around it, I'll go around it also. But
you'll find a way.
I will find a way. But I have never given up. I've never given up. I'll bang my head against the wall, no? It's okay. I'll learn not to bang my head. I have to climb up or go around. But if you give up, and every matter that you lose, you will feel a very low. Oh my God, I lost. I did my best and I still lost. That makes you feel very, very low. But I would go back, I would introspect. Have I done my best? Have I not done my best? Could I have thought of something I didn't think? Or was the other guy smarter than I was? You have to analyze and then move forward.
So always also be, at the same time, always be a student.
Always. In law, you've never learned. Every day is learning. Every single day is an exam and every single day is learning. Prepare like you're going for an exam. Look at the imponderables when you're in court. You have prepared, but you have an opponent who may have prepared better than you have or has a different way of putting things across, different thought process. Okay? You may have two opponents or whatever. And you have a judge who may ask completely different questions. Everything is imponderable. And yet you're standing there arguing your case, answering everybody around. Presence of mind, preparation, fundamentals of law.
Wow, ma'am. Ma'am,
you don't realize, but you do the same thing when you go to court.
Yes, absolutely. I'm also reflecting while you're saying all of this. And I realize that for a lawyer, I think बहुत सारे skill sets चाहिए to work for you.
True.
What would you feel, ma'am, are the biggest, maybe 3 skill sets which are needed for, let's say, a successful lawyer or someone who has to do well in a firm?
Get your fundamentals of law right. To me today, and this is what I told my children, it's not about getting A grades and CGPAs of 10 and 20 and all of that. The fundamentals have to be correct. You can mug a paper and get some marks. That doesn't impress me. Fundamentals of law are important to you. Hard work, grit, determination, consistency.
Ma'am,
consistency is the most important.
I don't know, ma'am, if you get the chance to still interview fresh candidates.
Sometimes I do.
How do you spot that this is a good guy or a good girl who may eventually become a partner in the firm? How do you see that person in an interview?
When you're discussing, I want to take an all-rounded person, not only somebody who just studies 24 hours. That's not what you want. You want an all-rounded person. You talk politics, you talk law, you talk concepts of law, and you engage in a debate with someone. Can he articulate what he wants to say? He or she. Can they articulate what they want to say? Is there conviction in what they're saying? From that little debate that you can have with somebody, you can figure out
many things.
Yeah. And sometimes you start talking of work-life balance and stuff like that. Then you know an attitude that a person has. You ask for instances where they felt they could have done better. How could they have done differently? Sometimes we'll say, well, I did my best. There's nothing I could have done differently. Is there an attitude? You will think twice.
I don't think so. मैं आज भी ये कह पाता हूँ.
I cannot say today. I cannot say after all these years. I go back and reflect on every matter that I work on when I go back home at night.
And you feel that there's always more I could have done.
I will think of more things and go back the next morning. But that's your strive for excellence.
Excellence.
You have to have strive for excellence. Today, sometimes I see younger people do things, pass it on to their partners without even reading what they've written. You give them then tools like Litera, saying you don't want to read it, let Litera read it and correct English and grammar and spellings. That also they don't use. It's gone off my table.
My job is done.
My job is done. ये ऐसे नहीं होता है. You have to own the piece of work that you do. And this goes in any profession, anywhere. Till you claim ownership. Means कि ये perfect होना चाहिए.
ये मेरा है.
ये मेरा है. ये firm का नहीं है, ये इस partner का नहीं है, ये मेरा है. और ये perfect होना चाहिए. तब तक मुश्किल है आगे.
And I know, ma'am, आप बहुत active हो, you and Shweta both in the mental health space for lawyers. क्या challenges हैं? What are the challenges that they are facing today that requires this topic to even come up?
I think life has become very, very complex for all of us. Okay? Surroundings, relationships, everything is becoming more and more complex. Everybody who comes to office has some stress at the home. Whether you admit, you don't admit, everybody has some level of stress at home. When you come to the workplace is highly competitive. You're working in a ferociously competitive workplace. The market, the surrounding, the workplace. If you say that any firm is collaborative and not competitive, I cannot believe that.
Probably both.
Both. Collaborative, competitive, open, all of that I am agreeing. But look at the marketplace outside. Yeah. It's ferociously competitive. So those pressures do come on you somewhere or the other. Even if the firm is not putting, you will see people in other firms doing a few things and you will start thinking, putting pressure on yourself. With so much stress around and the work, and if you're striving for excellence and managing so many things in the short time, it's not easy. You know, and we all talk of there's no work-life balance, right? So there has to be some other support for people to help them cope with the stress of life. Mental health is nothing but that. It helps you to cope. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes you're scared because you haven't done something, you want some help, you know. So those sort of stresses is somewhere you can go and talk, somewhere you can get a therapy, you can do something. People should recognize. Firms several years ago wouldn't even recognize mental health as a real problem
concern.
Like any other ailment that you have. Like diabetes or anything else. And kept pushing people to work till they broke down. You cannot do that today.
Is burnout real, ma'am?
It is, but it's misused. It is real. It is real. And that is why a lot of us all advise, take your breaks.
Take your breaks.
Take your breaks. You know, it's very difficult to take long breaks as a professional. Okay, this one month I will go and take a break. It doesn't work. What you need to do is to take short breaks. Anytime you have a long week. So when we plan our calendars, I don't know if you remember, but every quarter there'll be one long weekend.
Yes.
So that you can get out, you can chill, you can do what you want, but that's your break time. You go for 3 days somewhere, you're sitting at home and doing nothing, but that gives you the ability to come back on a Monday feeling fresher.
अब मैम एक बार relationships पे जाते हैं. I know you spoke a lot about your father, and you said for you he was like God. What was it like for you? what were the things that made you, in a way, look up to him or idolize him? थोड़ा बताइए उसके बारे में.
Till I joined the legal profession, he was just Papa. You know, who was always busy, never ever raised his voice. He lived till 95. I haven't seen him raise his voice even one day.
Wow.
Not even one day. Never angry, never anything. Always made us believe you can do everything. You set your mind to it and you can do it. We had no distinction between boy and girl in our house. We had 3 sisters. But both my parents actually said, there's nothing you can't do.
And I know for a fact, personally knowing you, that all 3 of you are doing phenomenally well.
Yes, yes. So we were brought up to believe in ourselves that we could do anything that we wanted to do. And we had to also fend for ourselves. Because being a judge, there were limitations. Limitations on funds, limitations on being able to use luxuries, but we never felt anything. So as I said, simplicity is very important. The way my father and mother lived was very simple. We imbibed that. Simplicity. Integrity. Dad worked every single day. Even as a judge, even after that. And this is the atmosphere that you grow up in at the end of the day. One good thing I'm very thankful to him is that all through his life and when we were kids onwards, we had a lot of dignitaries, senior people from all walks of life come to meet him. And he would never hide us somewhere inside. He always come and introduce us to them. You know, so we had the opportunity to meet senior people, talk to them right from childhood. I remember 1960s, 64, 65. There was a governor who came to our house for some formal dinner. And at the end of a dinner or something, when the dessert was going on, Dad called all three of us out and said, my 3 children, my daughters. And I turned around and told him, why do you always invite only my father and mother to your house to the Raj Bhavan for a
Achha, you told them?
I told the governor. I said, why don't you invite us? My father was aghast. My mother fainted, I think, for a brat to turn around and say this. So he just smiled and said, no, beta, I'll call you. But you won't believe, 2 or 3 weeks later, all 3 of us got an invitation from the lady governor to come and have lunch with them on a Saturday. And 3 of us trooped alone to have lunch with the governor. Mine was a casual, like a young brat says something, you know. But it became a reality. So we used to meet very senior people in life. That gave us a lot of exposure. But I think my father, after I became a lawyer, or as I became a lawyer, and I read his judgments, and I understood what he was thinking, his mind, his genius. That's
the appreciation level went up?
Appreciation level. I would have never known him if I hadn't become a lawyer, what he truly was. At one level, he was like an ascetic, but at the other level, he was completely way ahead of his times. Way ahead of his times.
And that one can only appreciate when you step into his shoes by coming into the profession.
Correct. When I read and I realized, that's when I realized. Even after he had ceased to be a judge, when I would go out with him, and people would see him walking on the road, people would come up and ask, is he just as Bhagwati? He says, hum handshake kar sakte hain sir se. This I've seen with me, myself. You know, the compassion in him for people, for doing good to people was phenomenal.
In fact, ma'am, you just spoke the word compassion. मैं कभी भी जब उनकी मैंने पिक्चर देखी है, I see a certain sense of glow coming from his face.
It is true.
Is this because, and this is something I've noticed in people who are compassionate about human beings, that there is a certain sense of aura and glow. Did you feel that?
It is true. Did I feel it? I don't know. Because for me, he was always Papa.
Papa.
He was always Papa. You know, and that feeling is very different.
But maybe when you would see people behave differently in front of him.
I have noticed that. People have come and told me about that also, that there's something about him. There's something about him. So, yeah, I guess.
Was he spiritual?
Very spiritual. Very, very spiritual.
Spiritual in what sense? Like in terms of practices or in terms
no,
of
not
some
in
belief
terms of
system?
puja part and all of that, no. Philosophical, yes, he had read the Vedas, he had read the Upanishads. At the same time, he had read Shakespeare,
Wow.
Voltaire, all of that in his childhood. So, I've seen his old textbooks in college, his notebooks in college. We used to write about Shakespeare and all of that. It was literally poetry in prose. Brilliant writing, brilliant writing. I used to analyze the characters of Shakespeare's. So he was really, really good. I've seen he did mathematics in college, and I've seen his practice books. These were registers this thick. From page 1 to last page, there's not a single scratch. I mean, we would write and scratch the zeros and this and that, but there was not one scratch in his book. He would solve the papers one by one after the other, constantly practicing.
So that shows that his state of mind was so clear.
Clear.
Probably because of maybe having a simple...
Yes, simple life. A very disciplined life he led. As a child, very, very disciplined. My grandfather and grandmother were extremely disciplined. Because my grandfather was also a judge of the High Court, then came to the Supreme Court. And on a judge's salary, he basically brought up 10 children. My father and all are 7 brothers. They had mama's kids with them. They had their Masi's daughter, who my grandmother adopted, my bua. And so there were 9-10 kids in the house, all studying. So my grandmother used to say, she used to bring 2 thans of shirt material. So everybody had the same shirts, 2 alternate shirts. Everybody had the same pants to go with it. And that was it. Nobody got anything else.
Same, ma'am.
Same thing.
Same for me and my brother.
Nobody got anything more. Like a uniform there.
Yes.
The first time, I think she used to tell us that my father must have worn a full trouser. They all used to be in half pants and full trouser when Papa had to go to college. So that was strict routine. Everybody had to sit for dinner at the same time. No matter where you went, you ate outside, you had to come home and have dinner.
इससे मुझे याद आया, I remember I had come to your place. I think we had a 8:30 briefing with you and sir, and आप breakfast serve कर रहे थे. And I saw that there is an element I noticed उस time भी, because I see that in my own mother, is that you somehow had the ability to hold the family together. आपने as a professional अपना role बताया, but as a family person, how have you managed to be the wife, be the mother, now the grandmother? ये roles आप कैसे fulfill कर रहे हो?
First of all, I'm very happy to play the different roles, and I think only a woman can play them effectively. A mother holds the family. No matter what you say, the mother is the backbone of a family. How a mother manages everything, only a mother knows. Honestly, you juggle around, you do things, but you want to do them. I think the real thing is you want to do. At least I know I want to play all the roles. You find the time. You find the time to do it.
आप believe करते हो, ma'am, that love within the family should be unconditional?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot, a mother or a parent and child cannot have conditional. Actually, a mother and a child has unconditional love. Mother will always give. Even between brothers and sisters, I know from my own sisters and all, we have unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's not always there. But yes, I mean, that's the ideal thing, I guess.
But you can feel the connect, that's what's there.
My sisters and I are connected. Completely connected.
Wow. Touch wood.
I would agree. Touch wood.
I hope it stays this way.
We are there for each other. We are always there for each other.
And what was it like working with Shardul sir? That both of you are doing your practices. You're also husband wife. You have to go back home. So normally a person पूछेगा कि would you bring work home? Would you have differences? How would you reconcile? Who will be the lawyer in all of this? What was your take?
Working together, the way we found our balance was, after 91, he decided to do corporate work and I continued to doing. So we were in two different practice areas, if you look at it. And that was very important for me and for him. We wouldn't work together on the same matter, unless, of course, it's a very large matter. And I would still discuss with him. He would discuss with me. So we would exchange ideas, thoughts, support each other. But we did our own stuff. And I think that was very, very important because... And I decided I will do my own story in life, my own stuff. He would do his stuff. So I used to leave at my time, early mornings, conferences, court, whatever I would do. He would take his time to do what he wanted to do. You know, and we would only have dinner together because lunch, there was no time to have lunch together. Anybody says, no, I'll sit and have lunch and all this. For me, it never happened. Because I used to work through lunch also. I still work through lunch every day. And so I'm happier that way. We found our own space with mutual respect and space to each other. Unless you give space to each other and you respect each other, it cannot work. And very jokingly, I had told somebody who asked me this question on my silver wedding anniversary. How do you guys manage? Because you work together, you live together. Office is in the home is in the office. Like, you know, I said, yeah, we found our way. We meet at the airports.
Are you meeting sir anytime soon?
No, I'll go to office. He's working from home.
Okay.
So, I mean, that on a lighter vein, I said we meet at airports. But we started traveling alternately in tandem because kids were young. Both of us couldn't be out at the same time. So he would travel and I would be here, and I would travel and he would be here.
So when आपकी और sir की जब marriage arrange setup हुई थी, at that point of time, what did you like about sir?
Simplicity. His simplicity. He's always been a dreamer. And I'm the more practical one.
So this combination helps?
Very much. Very much.
Someone's dreaming and then you're able to ground it.
I would ground it, implement it.
Because I believe being practical is great. Being close to the ground and execution is great. But then it also puts limits or barriers around your thinking.
It does. So we two have two different qualities. And it's good to recognize who's better at what.
ये आपको कब realize हुआ?
Right in the beginning. Beginning of my life with him.
तो between the two of you, जैसे पंजाबी में भी कहते हैं कि किसने किसको पहले स्कैन कर लिया?
I scanned him. No, I don't know. Families knew each other very well. So I guess my father wanted me to meet him. And he came to meet me, and I was a defiant young girl in MBA. I said, "मैं क्यों जाऊँ?" I mean, it's just those airs at a young 20-something. You have all those airs, you know.
And ma'am, now I want to get into slightly deeper segment with you. आपने mention किया about your father being spiritual. Are you spiritual?
Yes.
In what way?
I don't believe in pujas and all of those stuff, but deep in my heart, I believe in God. I pray every day. Whereas I don't believe in this rituals and all of that. I'll do those also, but I feel I have to be able to talk to God. That's my way of communicating, you know, my thoughts.
What is your definition of God?
My definition of God? For me, God is someone I feel who created me, who's given me, and I can see God in the whole creation. You see a bird, you see trees, the colors green on how many shades of green. God is that superior being who has created everything, who created me, but I should still be able to relate to God. He's not distant. He's not sitting somewhere I cannot reach out or I cannot do. I should be able to communicate.
And you communicate through your thoughts.
Through my thoughts, my prayers.
ऐसा कुछ हुआ मैम आपकी लाइफ में, इन दिस लॉन्ग ग्लोरियस लाइफ आई वुड से, कि आपको रियली वैलिडेशन मिली कि हाँ भगवान है, ये उन्हीं की वजह से हो रहा है, अदरवाइज देयर इज नो लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन टू दिस? ऐसा कुछ?
बहुत टाइम्स.
कुछ ऐसा शेयर करेंगे?
Many times. Look, I'm a devout believer of Satya Sai Baba. I continue to be even after he's no more. There have been several instances in my life that have sort of, helped me. One, my father had broken his foot. He had a fracture in his leg. And it was swollen very bad and all. And we all went to Baba's for his darshan. And Baba could see his feet were so swollen. So Baba just touched his feet and says, just rest for a week, you'll be fine. He would need surgery otherwise. He came back, rested for a week, went to do his x-ray, there was no fracture. I have x-rays before and after, no fracture.
Oh my God.
So this is something I have seen. I had no explanation for this. After Shweta was born, I had to take garamycin in the hospital, and I lost hearing to some extent in both my ears, to the extent that when I came back and started practicing, I used to wear a hearing aid. I couldn't hear. And I had gone to Baba, and he just told me, put glycerine in your ears. I don't complain or put my problems to him, because I don't think everybody as a human being has to go through their life. He said, put glycerine in your ears. Sure enough, 95%, 98% of my hearing is back. Wow. I've had many instances in my life, where I can say it's only some form of divinity that can make this happen.
Also in your professional journey, you feel that there is some divinity guiding?
Always there is divinity guiding me. Through the toughest of my times, I have felt a protection. I have felt a protection. Strange things have happened. My father was in Australia on a tour, and he got a heart attack while he was there, admitted to hospital there. He had no money, because Government of India didn't give money way back in the 80s. When you travel, you get some $7 a day or something.
Daily allowance only.
Yeah, some $7-8 you got, or some stupid amount. So I had gone to the law minister then with a request saying, please, can you sanction some money? He has to pay hospital bills. Law minister knew him but refused to sanction any money. He's nervous. He has to go out of the hospital now. So I think the Bars Association in Australia paid his whole hospital bill.
Wow.
Strange, completely strangers who didn't know him. Okay, paid his hospital bill. Where was he going to stay? No money at the end of all this. My mother tells me that just when they had to be leaving the hospital, half an hour before, and she was nervous, where will she take him? A lady comes, an Indian lady comes and says, Justice Bhagwati, I've read in the newspaper, there's a little clip saying that you are being discharged, you've had a heart attack. You know what? These are the keys to my house. Please go and stay there. I am traveling today. And
really?
She had a house full of stocked with food and everything.
Really, this happened?
This has actually happened. This has actually happened. My mom couldn't stop crying. As if her whole problem was solved.
Like this?
Just like this. The lady came from nowhere. They went to her house And they stayed there. He had to stay there for 2 weeks till he could travel back to India. She was out traveling and they were staying in her house. So these things are, in a way, miracles, in a way, things that you cannot explain. They could never find who this lady is after that.
Oh.
They could never find her back again.
Makes it more mysterious.
Yes. But they've lived this story.
एक आपसे पर्सनल सवाल मैं पूछना चाहूँगा. Do you believe now all your desires are fulfilled? कोई regrets, anything which you want to fulfill?
I have no regrets in my life. Whatever I've done, I'm happy with it.
So what does it take to live a regret-free life? अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं.
Enjoy what you do. Don't get upset by what you don't achieve. Try harder.
Never give up.
No, you feel bad at that point of time, certainly. You feel low, you feel everything. We are all human beings.
Yeah.
We feel that. But I don't let that overtake me. I'm very resilient. I'm very resilient.
I've known that, ma'am. I know that for a fact.
I will bounce back. I will make it a point to bounce back. No matter what.
Ma'am, does money drive you?
Not at all. I work like this not for money. I work for the responsibility that I carry on my shoulders.
So what is the place of money in your life?
You know, money is like a shoe. If it's too much, the shoe is big, it's loose, you can't walk. If it's too tight, it pinches. That's my philosophy. Money everybody likes. How you use your money is the issue. Do you throw it around? Do you waste it? What do you do with it?
Do you believe in charity? Is there some cause that you personally believe in that?
I do.
आप कुछ शेयर करना चाहेंगे उस बारे में?
Education of children. Looking after street children and looking after elderly parents who've been thrown out of their houses. These are the 3 causes that I support.
ये आपके लिए कब स्टार्ट हुआ ये जर्नी?
Maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So this is my way of giving back to society. I've got a lot from society. I need to give back to society. I'm not in a position to do the kind of work, human rights work that my father did. So in my own small way, I contribute the way I think I can.
एक लॉयर को मैम ये क्वेश्चन मुझे कभी कभार आता है माइंड में. Should a lawyer also take up some of these causes and do legal aid work for free, like even a commercial lawyer?
You should. You know, all of us who are successful, we should all be giving back to society. Society has supported us in our success. We have to give back. I go one step further. I do a lot of work with the government on committees and all of which is pro bono. And I feel that my country has given me a lot. How do I, as a lawyer, give back to my country? To help them with good laws, create the environment systems, laws. You know, that's the way I can give back. So that everybody else benefits from a good law.
Very meaningful.
We've all got so much from life and society and our country and all of that, you know.
And we should be very grateful about it. There should be a lot of gratitude.
First of all, let's recognize that we've got a lot. And each one can do something in his or her own way. It's not about money. It's about spending your time.
Either your time, your energy, your money, whichever way.
Yeah, whatever way you want to do it. That's the way you have to do it.
So now, ma'am, we'll move on to our last round, which is the rapid fire round. And in this, I'll be asking you simple questions. Whatever is the first thought that comes to your mind.
Okay.
जो भी आता है mind में आप बोल दीजिए. Okay. What's one thing that a lawyer should never do, even if a client insists?
compromise on integrity.
What's that one thing that law schools should stop teaching?
I would say start teaching humility.
And what are the 3 most important legal skills that a lawyer should have?
Learn how to read and analyze things on first principles. Express yourself clearly, whether you write or you speak. Understand what your client wants and then advise.
Wow. That's like 25 years of experience distilled into 3 most important principles.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having this conversation with me and helping in this initiative. One last question for our audience. What would you advise to a fresh 22, 23-year-old who is joining or wanting to join a law firm or is starting their career in law?
When you enter the legal profession, either as a litigator or at a law firm, as a corporate lawyer or in-house, I think you are embarking on a lifelong journey of learning. Always remember that. You are as good as your last mistake. 3, have the desire to learn every day. Having an attitude of, I know it, I've come from the best school, I'm just saying, I think that attitude doesn't work in life.
Law especially.
Yeah, it doesn't work in life. When even kids from the best law schools come in, what do we see? We see their ability. Do they have a sharpness of mind? But that mind still needs to be trained and honed. That's what all of us seniors do. Anywhere you go, this is what seniors will do. Have the humility to learn. Keep your minds open to learn.
And ma'am, if let's say the 23-year-old Pallavi ma'am is standing right in front of you, what would you tell her? How good, how bad, how's it been, the whole journey?
It's been very exciting to build an institution brick by brick. Seeing it all, I think it's been a fabulous journey. Lot of sacrifice, family sacrifices, no holidays. We couldn't think of holidays and travel and all of that. Had no money. So there was no holidays to go out and do anything. But I think in all that hard work, when you reflect back and see, I think what we built at the end of the day is what gives you the joy. And want to further build a stronger institution that outlives Shardul and me.
That's your drive?
It is my drive. I have still a way to go.
Wow.
The journey is, we have embarked on that journey. We have walked a distance, but a long way to go.
And it's just begun.
Yeah, we've started some time back, but a lot to be done. So, I have to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Pallavi ma'am. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us, sharing your mind, and, giving me this interaction so that whoever is watching us today, they know what it takes to be on the top. And I've realized it's none of the qualities that people talk about. It's actually simplicity, humility, and a lot of what you said.
That's right.
So thank you so much, ma'am.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for calling me for this.
Always.
I was quite excited when you wrote to me.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.